Hey guys, it's Rachel from the Little Ring Lamb. Today I'm doing the Growing Up Book Tag. This was created by Possibly Literate. I'm looking at the questions on my phone. Nobody tagged me. Sad. Not really. I'm completely fine with that. But yes, I'm going to go through the questions, and this tag is very interesting. I hadn't seen this one going around before. And I love when you find like tags that like a big portion of people have done, but you haven't seen them because it's just like you're stuck in your subscription feed bubble, and then you get out of it and you're like, there's a whole new world. Like it's all the different, just great. Me gushing over YouTube. We'll just fast forward over that. So anyway, this is basically all about growing up and the stages of life and school and all that. So number 1 is preschool. It's okay to admit it. You're just in it for the pictures. What's your favorite illustrated book? I don't have a favorite illustrated book. I went through so many books as a child. I'm going to just name a few of my favorite series of books to help, or authors. One of my favorite authors is Robert Munch, and I think the illustrator is Michael Karchenko. Starts with a C, I know that. But really loved those books. The Berenstain Bears series, the Polkweed Elementary School books, Franklin, I was into that book series. Yeah, those were like my main, jams. And like obviously Disney like books, like those kind of things. Because we had like the whole like little, Disney sets that you mail away for. So those are kind of my favorite. And I guess Dr. Seuss, because I had the Dr. Seuss and Disney. I went through those a lot. They were like just sitting on my nightstand thing, and like I was a big reader, so I'd always like, pick them up every day. 2, kindergarten nap time. What's a book that put you to sleep? A book that put me to sleep actually was 6 Stories by Matt Wesolowski. And you might be thinking, Rachel, you said you enjoyed this. What's up with that? Are you lying? No. The reason being is because I really enjoyed the story. I really loved the format of the story. I loved how it panned out. I have really good things to say. Like I have a few hems and haws, but I think it was this author's writing just kept me putting me to sleep. Like I tested this out. I read a different book at night. Wasn't as tired, and it was a contemporary, so it wasn't like it was a thriller or something that would keep my interest, because this was a thriller. I think it's maybe just the author's writing that was just made me a little drowsy. Not that it's bad. It's just sometimes I read certain books and just the writing makes me drowsy. And I feel like that's a diss in the author, but it's not really, because the story structure and the story is really good. It just might be me. I think it's just me. So, me. Elementary school. We have 3. Elementary school. Recess and story time and jungle gym. So much fun. What's a book or series that's just plain fun? I would say the Confessions of a Shopaholic series by Sophie Kinsella. This series is contemporary. It does have some, I would say, lessons, some like harder topics, but it doesn't have really any dark topics or really, really emotionally heavy topics. It's more light, fun. It's more of a comedy than a serious book. And the whole series is fun and zany, and Becky Bloomwood is such a fun and enjoyable character to read. 4, middle school. The awkward, embarrassing years. What's a book or series that you're embarrassed you used to be a huge fan of? I wouldn't say any series, because I used to, I think, feel like I would be, like covers, yeah. But series in general that I've read, like I feel like there used to be a stigma, but I've watched so many booktubers videos where they've been talking about this exact same topic, and it's really changed the way I have thought. One of them in particular is Tiffany from About to Read. This was more in regards to guilty pleasures, where she said there's no guilty pleasure, she just enjoys reading. And that really got me reflecting on that, so thank you, Tiffany, for that if you're watching this. But it got me really reflecting and thinking about the whole concept of being guilty for something you read and being embarrassed for it, because like most people probably say like Twilight or something like that, but it's like I'm not embarrassed to say I read that. I read that because I wanted to connect with my fellow classmates, and how is that embarrassing when so many people have read it, and it's a piece of literature. No matter how good or bad it's viewed, you are reading something. You're learning about spelling, you're learning little things, sentence structure, spelling, how to format stuff, little facts. Like you're always learning, even if you're reading something, so it shouldn't be embarrassing. Like I've been made fun of for reading, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like I've literally told the person, I'm like, I don't get why you're making fun of me for reading when reading is generally a good activity for you. Like, so I don't really have any embarrassment about that. 5 is high school. The popular girl, the jock, the nerd, the loner. These are all stereotypes, but people are more than they appear. Who is a character that you initially wrote off as a trope stereotype but grew to love? So character I initially wrote off was actually Laura Jean from To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. Now, I ended up adoring this series, but when I first tried to read it, I only got 70 pages through, and I didn't DNF it because I was going to come back to it later, and I did do a buddy read stuff of it midway through this year. But when I first read this, I was like, oh my gosh, like this girl, like I thought she was just a stereotype of like a quirky teen, and I was like, Like, I hate when it's like, if somebody's quirky, they don't have to say it that they're quirky, they just are, but it kind of like was like screaming in your face, like, I'm kind of quirky or preppy, or like the stereotypes are just emanating. But when you get more into the characters and you see more of their sides, you definitely see past the stereotypes and into their personalities. And that's why I picked this one. Like, I've never had anything against Laura Jean where I was like, I hated her, but I just didn't really vibe with her character the first go around. But after I finished the book, I realized that I misjudged her. So, I'm sorry, Laura Jean. I'm sorry. Number 6 is College, Out on Your Own, Forging Your Own Path, Making Your Own Schedule. What is your favorite coming of age story? Okay, so one of my favorite coming of age stories is Colorless Tsukuri Tazaki and His Years of Pilgrimage by Haruki Murakami. I hope I pronounced that right. I know people have commented on that. But this book, I have a lot of tabs. This is one of my favorite books of the year when I read it, I believe. It was just such a good book, and it was definitely a coming of age story. I really want to reread this because it is not like it's not too big, but it packs a punch, and it's just about a guy, Tsukuri, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who is basically kind of seeing how his friend group in high school, I believe, broke up, if I'm saying the synopsis properly, and you see what's happened kind of to his life and his friends' lives, and see how they did come of age. So it's kind of like a coming of age story from the perspective of somebody who's older looking back at that time in their life, which I found was a very unique perspective. And the last question, adulthood, 7, adulthood, taxes and retirement accounts and car payments, oh my. All depressing, but you still have a sense that the world is your oyster. What is a book that's pretty depressing, but also has a sense of optimism to it? And I picked Dying to Know You by Aidan Chambers because this is one of my favorite books. Like, I love this book. Like, if we ever become, like any of my friends, I want all my friends to read this, but like, especially if I see you in real life and you're one of my friends, like, I just want you to read this book. Like, you can take my copy. I have underlined, this is my original copy, but my second copy, I have underlined passages, everything. Like, if you really want to get to know me, this is the book to go through. It has such a dark topic and it makes you sad, but then it grows you with optimism and passion, and love this book so much. That's why it's so weird that Aidan Chambers' other book that I read, Break Time, and the other one that I'm partially through, was so weird. But this is his newest one, I believe, because I don't think he's written anything since this one. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so, because I think I would have heard about that. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I just love it. So there you have it. That's a Growin Up Book Tag. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to do this tag, feel free. You've been tagged, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.